Hi, this is Dominic Keating. I played Lieutenant Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, as you probably know, and you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast. Enjoy.
And welcome to the NX 7062 podcast, and I do hope you enjoy your evening. I've got early birds. Hi, War Dog. Hi, Jean. Now, see, Jean, who I've been calling Jean for the last 2 weeks, but I've been informed that Jean is from the lovely Great White North, and it's actually Jean. So I will be doing that, and of course, as a Trekkie, Jean would understand that it's important to call you Jean, as in Jean-Luc Picard. Jean is the proper pronunciation, so I am going to do that moving forward. As you can see, I am sporting, I finally got it. It's the NX01 anniversary hat, and the difference between this hat. Hey, Chris Hunter! So good. Look at, I think, what is this, 3 weeks in a row? I am so excited to see you. Of course, Jean, of course. And you can also thank Lasso for filling me in on that. You can't really see because of the lighting. This is blue, whereas the hats on the show were black. And it does have this little 20th anniversary logo-y thing on the side, but it's sort of mushed up. Like, it's not very high quality. I mean, I'm glad I have the hat. I'm supporting the 20th anniversary of my favorite show, but yeah, it's not that great. I actually think I like my $12 one that I had put together myself with just the black ball cap and the iron-on that somebody did. Hello. Oh my gosh. Look at who is here. Hi, Robert. I know, Chris, I saw that on your Facebook. For those of you that don't know, Sean Kenny actually played Captain Pike in The Menagerie. For those of you that thought that Chris's dad, Jeff, reprised the role, he did not. He did not come back and play Captain Christopher Pike in The Menagerie. That was Sean Kenny, who was the dude in the wheelchair. And he has been to many a convention. And Chris obviously had a chat with him via, I don't know, was it today or yesterday? I don't remember. Everything sort of moves together. Hello, Mohammed. So glad to see you. So happy to see you here. Yes, and there's Enterprise love to go around, because we all know that tonight is the show where we're going to be talking about all of our favorite Saturday. Gotcha. It was Saturday. Okay. Tonight is the night that we're going to be talking about all of your favorite series. We all know what mine is. There's already some Enterprise love out in the chats, so I love that there are other people here that are going to support Enterprise with me. Oh, you were at Comic-Con. That's right. LA Comic-Con was this weekend, and I know that they honored Nichelle Nichols, so that was amazing. I saw the pictures, how they did that. Let's see. What do we got from Magic Lasso? Hello. I don't know if you were here a few minutes ago, Lasso, but I told Jean that his cat's out of the bag and he's Toronto, and so I know that it's Jean and not Jean. So let's see. Let's see what that says. You have a cat that can cloak. Yes, I do. My cloaked cat. This is Podcat for anybody that doesn't know, and he hates it when I do this, but this is Podcat, aka Kal-El, and he got that name because before, when I first started doing video, he was the only cat that would pop up and make himself known. The rest of them have kind of gotten into it off and on, but Podcat is my steady video companion. So what is going on in the Star Trek universe? I saw a tweet today from William Shatner, in case you guys missed it, that Star Trek, the motion picture, is celebrating its 42nd anniversary. That's a lot. 42nd. I mean, it's not a nice round number for us to jump up and down about, but it is the 42nd anniversary of the original movie, Star Trek, the motion picture. I actually met her. She did a local convention here a couple years ago. I had a lovely chat. She worked with your dad, Chris. I saw the picture. She worked with your dad. She worked with William Shatner, because she was Alana of Troyes. And she also worked with Scott Bakula on something. She had pictures. So I was very impressed. She's worked with 3 Enterprise captains. Very sweet. Very, very sweet lady. What else is going on? Creation, once again, they are just putting the actual official mission Star Trek to shame. They just added yet another person. They added Tig Notaro, who I am so incredibly excited about. She plays Jet Reno on Discovery. She is a fan favorite. My tweet about her actually helped get Lambda Quadrant. I think I might have mentioned this. Lambda Quadrant's first tweet with 1,000 likes was when I tweeted that she's going to be in Discovery more than a lot of people thought. Let's see. Today's the 30th anniversary of Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, which War Dog, that was perfect timing, because that actually leads me to something I saw online that Kim Cattrall, who played Lieutenant Valeris in Undiscovered Country, said that she thought that Mr. Spock was the sexiest thing on TV back during the original series. And then she finally got to play opposite him in the last movie starring the entire original cast. And for those of you out there who might have thought that they just recast Saavik yet again, because I think somebody mentioned that on the podcast before, Kim Cattrall did not play Saavik. She played a completely different character. A lot of it had to do with nobody wanted to see Saavik betray the Federation. Spoiler alert. Nobody wanted to see Saavik betray the Federation, so they created a new Vulcan character, and I thought Kim Cattrall did a great job. An absolutely great job. Let's see. Oh, Jean's already with his top. We got original series, DS9, Enterprise, Voyager, TNG, Discovery. Those are your choices. All right. Well, I will take TOS from you, Jean, because honestly, nobody else in my polls actually said anything about TOS. It's really sad. Oh, and I missed something in my own personal notes. I actually said Jadzia Dax and Kim Cattrall has something in common, because if anybody's watched Trials and Tribulations, they know that Jadzia Dax had a crush on Mr. Spock too. I didn't want to forget to mention that. A real quick recap of Discovery, because Paramount heard the cry of grief from everybody outside the US about not being able to see Discovery till 2022. So they fixed it. Discovery is now available on Pluto TV. And I mentioned this last week on the recorded podcast, I think. It's now available on Pluto TV in the UK arena. And wherever Paramount Plus is available overseas, you can get it. And you can actually get the subscription for Paramount Plus at a 50% discount if you wanted to see it. So yes, we do actually get to talk about Discovery, which I thought this past week's episode was amazing. Book. I love Book. The man's got a cat, and he treats his cat like an absolute queen. AKA she is the queen. But I think one of the most poignant scenes in the entire episode, because Book's trying to come to terms with his grief over the destruction of his planet. And it's like, how do you fight what people, like this dark matter anomaly as a single person? There is nothing you could possibly do. But as we all know from our own personal lives, just because there's nothing you could have possibly done to prevent something does not mean that you don't feel guilty about it. And I love how the Vulcans helped him come to terms. They did a Vulcan mind meld. I love how he made the comment about, I thought Vulcans didn't have any emotions, and he was set right. And Vulcans have emotions. We've just learned to suppress them because they're so powerful. I love that people in the 31st century still don't, not everybody knows that. I love the fact that there's still that little issue with people not understanding that Vulcans do have emotions. They're so powerful that they've chosen logic and to suppress their emotions because it's safer for them, and I think for the universe at large. Also, seriously, Picard. Y'all need to be watching Picard if you're going to understand the storylines with Adira and Gray. You absolutely need to be watching Picard, or you've just got a whole bunch of spoilers and you don't need to bother watching Picard. either or, but there's definitely, it's very heavy with Picard. War Dog is with Jean, same order for the first three, and for the same reason for TOS, I watched it OG. See, and that's the thing. I mean, I didn't watch it OG. I watched it in reruns, but it was still my introductory show into Star Trek. But it was never. But then a bunch of other stuff happened, and it's probably number 2 on my list. I would have to say, because, you know, like, I will tell you, David Tennant is my favorite Doctor, and part of that is because he brought me into Who. So TOS was probably my favorite series up until Enterprise, and that probably all changed in 2016. Which there's the story you guys all heard over and over and over again, is that's when I rekindled my love of Star Trek. And it was in no small part to just hanging out with Connor and Dominic and singing karaoke with them, and then getting them to get me to go home and start binge watching Enterprise again. So for me, Enterprise feels very personal. So I think that's part of it. But again, also it's that rawness, where every other Star Trek show is so polished. Everybody knows what to do. Starfleet has these rules. There's a prime directive. There's all this stuff that we have to do and we have to follow. And this is how we venture into space. And then you get Enterprise turning around and saying, well, yeah, you know, that was all nice and pretty and neat, but let's get down to the nitty gritty and the dirty, stumbling fools that we were when we first made our forays into space. And I love that. I love the whole, we didn't like the Vulcans when we first met them. I love that there wasn't an instant friendship, that as all relationships, they take time. You get to see the birth of the Federation. I mean, there were just, you know, there was just so much about Enterprise that I absolutely loved, outside of my connection to some of the actors, that it bumped it up. So now for me, it's Enterprise, TOS, pretty much everything else, and then Voyager's on the bottom. I just couldn't get into Voyager. Let's see, War Dog, watched everything Star Trek that's ever aired, minus some fan stuff, but every series of Star Trek and every movie. I have watched everything. I would love, I'm pretty damn sure that I've seen all of the animated series at one point or another in my life. It's just, that's the one that I haven't gone back and rewatched. I watched one episode a while back. I forget why. I think just because I didn't have anything else going on, and I found it. I think it was on Netflix at the time. And I loved it. I mean, I always loved that cartoon format. That's my childhood. So I definitely have a love of that. So I did watch. It was the one with Spock reliving the whole thing with his pet, that I know I should know the type of pet they are, because they mentioned it in Discovery, and now I can't think of what it is. But I'm sure somebody out there, what species was Spock's bear-like pet? I can't remember. So somebody help me out here. There you go. That's something else they did try. That's fair. That's very fair. The animated series did try and pick up. And again, when you're doing animation, back then, to do animation was to allow you to do all the stuff that you couldn't do in live action back then. So that was probably something. Let's see. There you go. Thank you, Jean. Appreciate that. Okay, so the poll that I took on Twitter. This is what sucks about Twitter polls, is that you have more than 4 things, you have to split it. But the way I split it came out really cool, because in the first section, it picked TNG, DS9, Voyager, and TOS against each other. TOS got 0. And meanwhile, 55.6% went for DS9. And then TNG and Voyager were split 22.2% for each. But then the next one, the second tweet, was Enterprise and all the new stuff. And so Enterprise won hands down 100% for Enterprise. Prodigy, Lower Decks. I mean, Lower Decks is ranking up there for me. I love Lower Decks. I'm not sure if I'm ready to bump it into 3rd place on my list, but it's definitely up there. Let's see. Domestic. Number 1 is DS9. Number 2 is Enterprise. That's very acceptable. TNG, TOS, Picard. Oh, gosh, you've really thought about this. Now here's the thing, Prodigy's only been in 1 season, Domestic, so are we thinking that Prodigy has a chance to move up. I would think that your list has to be fluid. We've got Strange New Worlds coming out. We've got the Section 31 is still going to be a thing. Season 2 of Picard is due. So, things could get shuffled around. It's tough to say your favorite. It's easy. It's easier to rank the stuff that's been and gone and done. So all the way up to Enterprise, it's really easy. But then, like War Dog said, it's rolling at 4 because it could go up or down depending. So you got a pretty solid list with the top 5, but then could something that's new kind of edge out whatever's on the bottom of your list? Like for me, the bottom of that list was Voyager. Lower Decks, I like Lower Decks better than Voyager. I like Discovery better than Voyager. So Voyager's getting edged out of the top 5 even for me because it just was never my favorite. That is fair. That is very fair. One of the beautiful things about Star Trek and about anything, any fandom, which a lot of people tend to miss, you don't have to like everything about it, especially when it's so vast and has so many moving parts and is written by so many people. You don't have to like every single incarnation of it. For me, even the books within, I picked up the Enterprise books and some of them are great. And then there's one that is still sitting on my Kindle waiting for me to finish it because the author, it's just written so badly that I just can't even finish it. So, when you've got things like Star Trek that have so many incarnations that are written by so many people, and this isn't to take away from the talent of all of this variety of writers, because obviously you're not asked to write Star Trek if you're in a talent hack, but you're all going to be different and everybody's style is going to be different. And not everybody is going to love every style of every show that's written. I can't stand any of the Matt Smith except for one Doctor Who, one Matt Smith Doctor Who episode. The rest of them I can't stand. And that has to do with I never liked Matt Smith's Doctor, but there are so many people that love him. It's all a matter of taste. And I think that the reason something survives for 50 plus years is because it just keeps changing and evolving. And there's so much to love for so many different people that it just kind of brings people in because it just speaks to so many people on so many different levels. Let's see. Jean, what do you have to say, Jean? The only movie I'm missing is Star Trek Insurrection. I have all the other Blu-rays. I liked Insurrection. I have to say that I like Insurrection because of the Deanna Riker thing that started in Insurrection. That's one of my favorite things because I always shipped Deanna and Riker, and I've told them both to their faces how much I adored their relationship. Marina calls Jonathan Frakes her work husband, as she should. Speaking of Trek comic books, Jean needs to be here. Not that I want Jean not to pick and choose which weeks. He should be here every Monday. I am not saying that he shouldn't. But next week, we're actually having a Star Trek comic conversation. But with the special guest, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So Lasso, for right now, just shh. If you start typing something, stop. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. I hope Chris is still here because I'm going to assume, Chris, that you are a little biased towards the original series. And that would be your favorite, but I could be wrong. I don't like making assumptions. So, like I said, I thought it was a fair bet, but we can see. Chris, answer me if you're still out there. I have one Star Trek comic book, and it was a gift from none other than Magic Lasso. And I don't know if it's going to, yeah, see, it's all, that's the other thing, guys. I am debating. I spent money on a monthly subscription to this little program that will put a background that basically feeds the background into your webcam. So I don't need a green screen. This isn't a green screen, but it's so heavy that it blocks out things like that I'm trying to share. Like my Star Trek The Motion Picture comic book that was a gift from Magic Lasso. But see, if I try to do this, then you lose it in the... So I'm debating canceling the subscription. I mean, it's only $7 a month. It's called Chroma Cam, I think. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's called Chroma Cam. If anybody needs backgrounds and they don't feel like investing in a green screen, or like me, got tired of their green screen getting knocked down by all of their cats while they're in the middle of stuff. But because this is so, like, I disappear into the background, and because, Podcat is cloaked when he comes up, I'm seriously considering ditching it. I haven't decided yet. What else? Chat Pack 2.0. Lasso. Do you have a favorite Star Trek series? I think you've watched more than one. So with your limited knowledge of Star Trek series, because I know that you haven't watched all of them, I'm just wondering if what you've watched, if either one of what you've watched has resonated with you. I'm going to say I know you watched a TNG episode. I thought you might have watched something outside of Next Generation, but let me know if something, Robert says, War Dog, I've seen quite a few fan films, and I'm in a fan. Oh, there you go, Robert. Oh, that is amazing. So everybody look up The Neutral Zone and go see Robert in his fan film. Lasso, if nothing else, we can always depend on you for a really good laugh. Yeah, actually for me it's Empire Strikes Back, but New Hope is really good. I've seen some of the fan stuff too. Star Trek Continues is really great. I have a problem with Axanar. I watched Prelude to Axanar, and then I found out what their shenanigans did to everybody else that was trying to make fan films. So as much as I appreciate what they were trying to do, and as much as I appreciate their love for Star Trek, the fact that they've made fan films and ongoing ventures in fan films like Star Trek Continues, they've made it more difficult for them, for those people that were doing it perfectly, staying under the radar, being respectful, and just doing it for the love of everything. And then Axanar had to go out and earn money and get on CBS's radar and basically ruin it for everybody else. I just can't find the love for Axanar, but I think that there's some really, really great fan run projects out there. I didn't have an answer, so that's what happened. Listen, War Dog, you have to understand, I think Lasso maybe in his entire life has seen 3 episodes of Star Trek, and that might be generous. So the fact that he is such a good friend and hangs out with us here on Monday nights and is willing to learn, I let stuff slide. And you know what? Honestly, he gets credit for at least knowing the difference. I think I've mentioned this before on the show. One of my favorite t-shirts is the one that has a Dalek on it, and it says something like, "Oh, look, it's R2-D2. I loved him in Star Trek." I mean, I love those mashup shirts. Yes, Jean. Stephanie, according to Comic Fu, I have, I'm trying to imagine, that's the nicest guy on YouTube, but it's Squashy who started calling me that. Yes, Cloaked Cat is back. He is. You can see most of them, just not his head. I will always vote for Magic Lasso as the nicest guy on YouTube. Always, 100%. Lasso always has my love, appreciation, and all the votes. That's all I have to say. He has all the votes. So, sorry. For certain, Magic Lasso gets a pass because he's hilarious. He gets a pass because he's hilarious, and he gets a pass because, like I said, because he's here. And he technically is not a Star Trek fan, and he's just here to support me and have some fun. So, yes, he gets all the passes. I have no passes left for anybody else, though. So if anybody else makes a mistake, they're in trouble because Lasso's just used up all the passes. Plus, Lasso goes to more comic book conventions than I do. So Lasso finds me cool stuff at comic conventions that I just don't go to. So, because usually when I go to a convention, I'm doing like 50 other things. I do not have time to sit down and go through all the comic book stuff. I think I mentioned this. I did do that for him at Terrificon. Terrificon, I actually had 3 days to myself as an attendee, and I swear to God, I did not know what to do with myself as just an attendee for 3 days. So I did do some comic book hunting for Lasso, but that's just really, really rare. Yes, you're the pass hog. I didn't dethrone anyone. Magic was here way before me. I'll be second fiddle. Oh, well, now we've got the nicest guy on YouTube competition going. You guys should do that on one of the podcasts. Just have the fans of one of the YouTube channels vote which one of you is the nicest guy on YouTube. I taught to look for my Tiger comic book under N for Marvel Chillers. That's right, Marvel Chillers, because I was getting sick of looking under T and not finding it. So yes, as I've mentioned many times before, and I will mention it again, because Lasso has gotten me followers. So please, if you are not already, please go like and subscribe over at Magic Lasso's YouTube channel. He's amazing if you like comics in the least. And obviously there is a ton of crossover. He talks about comics. He talks about all the new Marvel shows. I'm assuming at some point there's going to be a review of Hawkeye. So if you are a fan of comics, if you want to learn about comics, like things like what is an AOK, which is something I had to learn. Like, what's an AOK and what's slabbing and all that fun stuff, then head over to Magic Lasso, and Magic Lasso will teach you all of that. Oh, and see, he needs round numbers are good. Round numbers are good. Somebody go put him up to 550. Let's see. Domestic. Voyagers at the bottom. I loved Belana Torres, 7M9, Naomi Wildman stories. Yeah, see, there are stories and characters that I like in Voyager. Voyager will sit at the bottom of my list because it takes more than me liking a couple of the characters or one or two of the episodes for me to move you up from the bottom. But that doesn't mean that I hate it, and that doesn't mean I just won't rewatch it. I think I like the Janeway hologram better in Prodigy than I did the actual Janeway. So thanks, Domestic, also for pulling me out of the comic book realm and back into what the topic of the evening is, which is favorite Star Trek series. So if anybody else out there has not chimed in and is feeling the desperate need, I know Muhammad has all that Enterprise love along with me, so I'm going to assume, Muhammad, that Enterprise is your number one also, even though he works on Discovery, and we're not going to tell anybody that Enterprise is his favorite, even though he's sort of helped and worked on Discovery. Let's see. Jean likes all the Borg episodes from all the series. And Q. I love Q. I love John Delancey. Don't get me started. I love John Delancey. I love Q. I think Q's an amazing character. I love all the Borg episodes. The Borg are great. And of course, Resurrection is my absolute favorite because it was on Enterprise. And I love how that was looped back around to First Contact because they changed the past a little bit. So there could have been a Borg frozen in the ice. And I don't know, Jean, if you knew this, but the redheaded scientist in that episode Regeneration was played by Bonnie Frederica, who is actually in real life married to the one and only John Billingsley. Let's see. I'm not going to get myself in trouble. There you go. So, Mohammed, hopefully that means that you're okay with me just saying that you like Enterprise as your favorite. So, obviously, if you're not going to say anything, we're just going to assume that you're okay. I didn't know Kim. Oh, there we go. I didn't know Kim Cattrall was in Trek until tonight. Does she ever show up at a Trek convention? Unfortunately, you know what? She could, because Trek conventions are known to invite one-offs, like Catherine Hicks, who not only played Andy's mom in all of the Chuckies, but was also Dr. Jillian in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. So, thank you, Mohammed. I appreciate that. So yes, they will invite one-offs like Kim's character to a convention. I have never seen her at a convention. I don't know if that means that she hasn't been invited, but the minute she gets on a guest list anywhere, you know that I will absolutely be there for you if you want a Sex in the City signed picture. Speaking of which, the guy that played Richard Wright was in Dexter, so he does actually go to conventions. Has nothing to do with Star Trek except that he was in Sex in the City and played Kim Cattrall's boyfriend, who was in Star Trek 6. But I actually did see him at a convention once, so he does conventions. Catherine's been around. I actually was on an elevator. It was so funny. My first Vegas convention was in 2017, and my friend and I got on the elevator at the Rio, and she was in. It was like the first night of the convention. We were volunteers, and we just got done setting up, and I forget what I said to her, something like late night or hi or something, and she's like, oh, we just got back from dinner, and I said, oh, did you enjoy it or whatever, and she said, yeah, and I was like, okay, have a good night, and my friend actually said, who's that? And I was so embarrassed. I was like, you're at a Star Trek convention, you're volunteering, and you don't know who Dr. Jillian is. Okay, then. Okay, here we go. 1991, 20. Oh, well, that makes sense. 25th anniversary convention in Los Angeles. So there you go. Hopefully that means she'll do more. I've seen the guy who played Richard Wright in person at a con. Didn't meet him. He was really sweet. Let's see. So Deep Space Nine episode called Duet. It's either 1 or 2. Oh, there we go. I haven't seen enough to be able to answer fairly. Johnny! How are you? Thanks so much for coming and hanging out. We are talking about favorite Star Trek series. So chime on in with your favorite Star Trek series. If you're biased because you happen to represent some of the talent from some of the series, that's fine. Be biased because I know at least one of the people you represent was on Enterprise. So please be as biased as you want. And I know that you were just at Starbase Indie convention, so I hope you had an amazing time. I've just seen a couple of pictures. So, well, that makes sense. It was just before Undiscovered Country. That makes absolute sense. Yeah, so like I said, I hope... Look at you being the perfect diplomat. You love them all. So are you saying you love them all equally? You don't have one favorite series? I find that hard to believe. I'm sorry, guys, if you hear that. I forgot to mute my phone, and I don't want to start messing with it now. But that is actually, that music, which is on my phone. Oh, good. One of these days, you know what? Starbase Indie is absolutely on my bucket list. I just have to find a good time to break away from Thanksgiving stuff because it's always the weekend. It's always Thanksgiving weekend. But and I know my buddy Callie was there, so I know that you were with Callie, which made me incredibly jealous. But one of these days, I am going to get to Starbase Indie. Anyway, that music, which is also the music that you hear on my little countdown thing, that is actually from the season 4 episode of Enterprise called Bound. But don't tell anybody because technically it's licensed music, and I don't want my stuff to get pulled down. Shh. Voyager was your favorite. Now it's Discovery now it's Discovery. There you go. See, you do have a favorite when push comes to shove. Of course, Voyager is my least favorite, but now that you've bumped Discovery above Voyager, you can stay. Thanks, Johnny, for voting. We appreciate it. All right, my favorite Enterprise season is 3. There, I said it all. People hate that season. I love the arc. Somebody, and I think I might, and I feel terrible, and I don't know if anybody caught this on my Facebook page. What I did was I shared one of the posts about let me know what your favorite Star Trek series is. And for those of you that don't know, in the UK, and I guess it's also true for Australia, which makes sense, series doesn't mean show. It means season. So this person turned around, and they were from an Enterprise fan page, and they turned around and they said their favorite series was 3. So I, as nicely as I could, I said, hi, I think that's great that you like season 3. I'm assuming that means of Enterprise because that's season here. I said, but series, I'm speaking for the American version, means this show, not specific seasons, and they disappeared, and I feel terrible. But I really did want to know if Enterprise was their favorite show, but I actually like season 3 as well. I know for anybody who likes the Rat Pack, which the Star Trek Rat Pack, which they are all amazing. Jeff Combs and Vaughn Armstrong and Jeff and Vaughn and Casey Biggs and Max Grodenchek and Armin Shimmerman, and I'm forgetting somebody, Ethan Phillips, that's who I was forgetting, and Ethan Phillips all do these wonderful parody songs. One of the parody songs that they do is Everyone Knows It's Xindi, and they basically sing about how the Xindi season was basically the death knell for Enterprise at the time because nobody appreciated it and sponsors were dropping off. I thought it was great. I loved the arc too. Discovery, in case anybody hasn't noticed, tends to do arcs as well. But the thing about the Xindi episodes is, yeah, they have their purpose. It is an arc. They need to go find the Xindi weapon. But a lot of those episodes are really good just as standalone episodes. North Star, where they go to the planet that's basically, Gunsmoke, and I thought that was a really great standalone episode. Especially the part where he shot T'Pol to get to the guy that was holding on to her. I thought that was great, and of course that was a Reed moment, so of course I'm gonna like that. It was one of the only Reed moments in the episode. But there were a lot of decent standalone episodes. I thought it was an incredibly character building season for Archer because when he came back in the fourth season, he was a completely changed person. He went from Mr. Optimistic to pretty much pessimism, realism colored with pessimism, I guess you could say. So I thought it was a great character building episode. I thought finding vulnerabilities with Vulcans, where everybody thought that they were so perfect and logical, finding all those vulnerabilities with T'Pol was great. So yeah, I have a lot of love. I have a lot of love for all the seasons, but yeah, I thought the third season was great. I loved the way it ended. I loved the little peek into oh my god. Oh, Enterprise J, peek into the future. Because get this, it appeared once. I don't even remember. You saw it once towards the end. I don't do episode names. You saw the Enterprise J. You saw it once. I'm not even sure you saw the exterior, but Eagle Moss has the Enterprise J as one of their models. So that's definitely on my list. We are possibly going to do a gifting show. I guess now is as good a time as any with everybody here to reveal that next week's episode, I am going to have a guest. You may know him from every time that Magic Lasso tweets this chats this hashtag, Fu is a furry. Well, it turns out that Fu isn't just a furry, Fu is also a Trekkie. So I extended an invitation to him to appear. I actually I don't want to say guilted him into it, but I actually got pulled into one of their live YouTube comic videos, and in the middle of the episode, I basically asked Fu to come on the show. He said yes. We chatted a little bit. So Fu is going to be here next Monday. So I am really excited because not only I have not discussed with him what he's going to wear, but I would hope that he's going to be sitting in that same room that he was sitting in the video because he's got some really cool Star Trek stuff or Star Wars stuff in the background. He said he has some Star Trek collectibles, so we're definitely going to be talking about that. He loves Enterprise, so he is really excited to meet everybody else here that is an Enterprise fan. So we're definitely going to be getting our Enterprise on next week. We're going to be talking about the comics because he is a comic person. But yeah, he's really excited to be joining us and being able to kind of trek out because he doesn't really trek out. In fact, one of the other people that was co-hosting the video where I asked him to come on the show has no clue about Star Trek. He claims he's going to show up, and Fu said if he does, he has to wear a red shirt. So, yes, Dave is going to be here, Jean, so you definitely need to be here next week. I haven't decided. I'm assuming he's going to want me to call him Dave or David, whichever he prefers, as opposed to Comic Fu, but I will call him whatever he wants because I am so excited to have him here. As far as the rest of the year is concerned, the reason I ducked out on you guys last week, speaking of which, I hope you all enjoyed. That's the first time I've ever done a recorded show video. I hope you all enjoyed it. My recap of all of my awesome interviews at Star Trek Las Vegas in 2019. The reason I had to duck out on all you guys is because I had to go to get an MRI because I'm trying to schedule a knee surgery, and I don't know when it's going to be, except that it is definitely going to be before the end of the year. And depending on when it is, how my leg feels after it, I can't guarantee that next week's show won't be the last one of 2022. I don't know yet. Recovery from knee surgery is iffy. It all depends on what they do. Unfortunately, there's no tricorder that can fix me. Hold on a second. Let me put Podcat somewhere where he's not digging into my leg or my finger. So I'm hoping, but like I said, I don't know. I know I am definitely going to have a podcast next week. I would not miss that opportunity with Fu. But after that, the rest of the year, unfortunately, is up in the air. Again, depending on how I feel, maybe I will put together some more stuff for you guys so you can watch it. So you can watch recorded episodes, but I can't guarantee you. Let's see. Fu is the character. Oh, let's see. What is this? Fu is a co-star in the comic book Squatchy and Fu. Yes, I did see that. I love that. I love that comic. I saw some of it on the show last time. Open Star Trek toy stuff, so nothing I open. Nothing ever is going to be collectible. I actually wait, War Dog, gotta let you get in here. I have both of mine cleaned out. Just follow the PT and you'll be good to go. Oh yeah, no. War Dog, absolutely. It's a matter of being able to sit for long periods at my desk. Knee surgery is evil. Yes, I had my left knee done. So I'm kind of know what I'm kind of in for. So thank you so much. I appreciate that, Domestic. Let's see, that first week though, that is high, and I don't like that heavy payments. Yeah, like first of all, just so everybody knows, I am a complete wimp when it comes to pain. So sitting at my desk at my office with my knee, like right now, I like to move around and I can't sit in one place and and I'm short, so my feet don't quite hit the floor and all this other stuff. So yeah, it's a matter of whether or not I would be able to sit at my desk and do this without being in incredible pain and wincing and being miserable. And trust me, you guys do not need to see me miserable. You don't need to see me miserable. You don't need to see me in pain, and you definitely do not need to see me on Percocet, because I will fall asleep in the middle of this podcast. So, like I said, I don't know what the schedule is going to be for that. I'm hoping to get in at least one more after next week, but it is what it is, guys. And like I said, I'm getting good. I mean, it did take me like 4 hours to put that video together for you guys last week, but it was so worth it. I had so much fun reliving all of those interviews and putting all that stuff together. Let's see. What's the point in keeping them wrapped? Might as well leave them at the store. There you go. Or, Jean, I know a lot of people that buy two. So you have one to play with and one to, collect. So thank you, War Dog. I appreciate that. Yes, I want me healthy too. I absolutely want me healthy too. So thank you. So the other thing I wanted to mention to you guys, Spreaker.com is, if you miss me, and let's see. Wait, God, I had to post this before I finished what I was saying. Thank you so much, Jean. I appreciate it. Hey, Faith. You know what? You are here, and I don't know if you watched the recorded thing last week, but now that Discovery is actually playing and accessible internationally, if you remember what your question was, we can talk about it. We can actually talk about Discovery now. The spoiler, the non-Discovery discussions for fear of spoiler ban has been lifted. Yes, this is true too. I will tell you, I think I told you guys, I went on a road trip in May with a friend of mine, and we ended up at the Superman Museum in Metropolis, Illinois. And for some reason, they have collectibles that aren't Superman. And I actually have a Zephram Cochrane action figure from First Contact. And it is in my room. And maybe next week I will go back to the green screen so that I have better holding up and viewing thing without all of this interference. Okay. So this is something new and exciting. Before you guys go anywhere, I might have like a second announcement. So you know what? I apologize for like resting bitch face if that's what shows up, because I'm sort of looking on my Facebook page right now because something just came through. But okay. So assuming that this is actually the real person and not some random person pretending to be Noah Averbach Katz, Noah just accepted my friend request. You know, the very, very, very cool Andorian from Discovery from last year. Yeah, he just accepted my friend request on Facebook. Yay! I'm so excited. He's actually on my wish list for podcast guests. So hopefully that will happen in the new year after I come back. Let's see. Oops. Wrong window. Yes, Noah is totally the bomb. You cleared up the question in the last episode. I was trying to figure out the name of the ship. Protostar. Oh, there you go. There you go. Noah is totally the bomb. I've met him at 2 different conventions. He is amazingly sweet, generous, just an all-around great guy. So I would love to have him on the show. We have to wait till next year for more episodes. Yeah, I know. What's up with a mid-season, with Prodigy, with that mid-season split? I mean, everybody does it. That's not streaming. I mean, all the networks, you know, basically for the holidays. But streaming, I always thought was a different animal. So, yes, he was just on the 7th rule. Yeah, he's everywhere, which is why I'm hoping that includes my little show. Yeah, he would. I just need to get around to asking him. But I'm just so excited he accepted my friend request. Yay! Anyway, so normally I don't share that stuff. But the timing was so perfect that he accepted my friend request, and I'm here, so yay. But I was talking about Spreaker.com. My old audio shows are all over on Spreaker.com. So if you get to missing me and you want to listen to some old shows because you just found me here recently, because I've been doing the YouTube thing. This is my 2nd year on YouTube. But before that, I was over on Spreaker, Spreaker, and yes, I should have made a banner.com. So if you want to head over to Spreaker.com and check it out, I would love that. Download and listen. They're all still there. They may not be there for much longer. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with all the old audio shows, whether I want to download them and turn them into videos, and then I don't know. But there's time, especially if I'm on drugs while I'm recovering from my knee. Sometimes I have like the best ideas when your brain is like that open. The other thing I want to talk about is everywhere else that you can find me. You can become a patron. You can follow me on Patreon. This will help me because right now I do not think I am going to be able to make it to Reed Pop's Star Trek missions without you know, a little help, to be perfectly honest. And I would love to go for you guys. I would love to go and try and get some questions answered with the stars that are going to be there. But I do admit I might not go if the guest list doesn't, you know, beef up a little bit. You know, with TIG now, Creation is up to STLV having 17 guests. And it looks like Reed Pop's holding steady at 7. I don't know if it has to do with Better the Devil You Know Everybody knows Vegas. They know Vegas is going to bring in the crowd. And Lasso can attest to this. Chicago is fucking expensive. It is absolutely 100% just ridiculously expensive. And right now I just can't do it. So I would love to be able to go, but even, I mean, you can be a patron for as little as $1 a month. But the higher up tiers have these really cool thank you gifts that come with them. So check out all of the tiers. All the tiers are named after Enterprise episodes. I figured out how to do that. All the tiers are named after Enterprise episodes. I would love the support if you can. I know times are still hard for a lot of people, including obviously myself. But I have two amazing patrons right now. No, three. I do. I have 3 amazing patrons right now, except for War Dog, who is not on Facebook. If you become a patron, you actually get access to my private Facebook group, which is called NX7062 at Pajem. And you can come on there and you can ask questions up front. You all guys, anybody that's in that group gets first dibs at questions, gets to put in requests for guests, gets to put in requests for topics. So it's my own little secret, well, not secret club. It's just, you got to be a patron to join. C2E2 starts this week in Chicago, same venue as Trek. It is because Chicago has McCormick. McCormick Place is their huge convention center with 3 huge hotels. All 3 of those hotels, for less than a week, even with the convention discounts, cost almost as much as it did for me to stay in Vegas for 11 days at the Rio. Now, granted, these hotels are probably nicer than the Rio, but the other challenge with Chicago, and again, Lasso knows all about this. He and I have talked. He is my Chicago guru as well as my comic guru. The other challenge with Chicago is if you don't stay at one of the convention center hotels, wherever you decide to stay, you're not going to save that much more money if you want to stay someplace remotely decent. And whatever money you do save is going to get eaten up in Uber and or cabbing over to the convention, because there really is nothing decent within walking distance of that convention. So unless you have a buddy to stay with or some way to stay wickedly cheap so that you can invest all of your money in getting from wherever you're staying over to the convention center, it's just really cost prohibitive, which could also be one of the problems why while between the fact that it's in April and not August, everybody is being very realistic about COVID and realistic about going to Chicago in the middle of all this and how expensive Chicago is, could be part of the reason why they're having issues getting guests. I don't know. This is completely speculation. The other thing I want to throw up here besides Patreon, if you don't want to or can't do a monthly subscription, which I completely, totally, 100% respect, you can check out my Teespring store, which sells t-shirts, sweatshirts. It's getting colder, which is miserable and raining here earlier, but you want to bundle up and keep warm for the winter, have an NX7062 podcast sweatshirt. You want to have something nice to put your hot drinks in. There's coffee mugs. The only thing that is not on my Teespring site, because for some godforsaken reason, Teespring makes it really hard to do some of the merch, is my hats. If you want just an official NX702 hat, which is black like the NX01 hats on the show, then head over to punkarmy.net and just grab that black NX7062 hat, courtesy of Raymond Lister of Pop Culture Hero fame, as well as punkarmy.net, which is his own company. So please head over there. He also represents a huge amount of amazing bands and musicians, and all of their merch is on that site as well. So head over to punkarmy.net and you can find a hat, because I would love the support. I love the fact that all of you guys are here. I mean, the fact that you guys are here every week and watching me just fills my heart with so much love. I really appreciate y'all being here and hanging out with me. It's so stinking amazing. But again, I really want to go to Chicago and obviously again to STLV. And again, and maybe if everybody's comfortable by next August, I will try and get all of the questions that I couldn't get answered this year next year. Plus, you've got all this time to come up with new questions. Plus, maybe Kim Cattrall will show up, Lasso. Don't know. If she does, I will ask her questions for you, because that is what I do in Vegas. I ask questions. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. You know I always appreciate you being here. Next week, Dave, a.k.a. Comic Fu, joins me, and we're going to be talking Enterprise and comics and collecting and just all this really cool stuff. And I am so excited to have him. And I know he's going to be really excited to be here to talk about it all with you guys. So please, 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 thank you, Lasso. You have a good night, too. You all have a good night. I will see you next week. And as always, please live long and prosper.
Hey, this is Connor Turner. You've been listening to the NX7062 podcast with Stephanie. Enjoy your evening.